All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. I have something very important that I want to talk about, and that's why I got to get up and close and personal. I want you to see my chest when I say this, okay? And why I don't show my face, you don't need to trust me. I got nothing for you, okay? That's it. Maybe you should ask why they keep smiling at you and telling you to click on this and do... Anyways. And I didn't forget about the lurkers. I love you guys and all the people who've held it down, man. The fact I can remember a lot of your guys' names. And again, don't think I forgot about it. And I'm just getting y'all ready. But for real, I really hope you listen to this. What is going on with China right now? It is a very big deal. So when we jump to the screen, I am going to show you a very simple indicator, and it is the Japanese yen. And why I really want you to listen, I'm begging you, is because we have brought up the yen so many times on this channel, and I've never seen it ignored so much in my life. It's actually mind-blowing. So what I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be very simple here. China could develop into a very, very negative situation. It's scary, but it could also be nothing. How are you going to determine that? It is about using the yen as a safe haven and really watching how people use the yen as a safe haven. It's very simple. If the yen strengthens from here, then that means the problem with China is about to get real, and it may very well spill over into our markets. If we watch the yen chill out and other safe havens calm down, then you are going to be good to go. So I just wanted to tell you that. I want to make sure you understand this, and for real, come on stream, youtube.com/the stock market, because we're going to go over all of this, and I think there's going to be a lot of real-time lessons that you can learn. So drop your thumbs up, do all of that, chat. I just wanted to make sure. And then, dude, I got plays for you, too. We have it all, baby. Everything you need, okay? And I hope you had a wonderful day. You feeling blessed? Amen, amen. Okay, run it, baby.
Working to the couch, it's the 2020 election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel like it's a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down,
But right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, before I give you a little bit of a deep dive and show you the charts for the yen, I want you to see today, it was absolutely wild. We had the gap down again. Everybody was responding to all of the China stuff, but I'm sure you noticed this little panic candle right here. It was James Bullard. So I have this in writing for you when we get to the keys and all of that, but it was a very wild day with a giant cloud hanging over us from China. That's what I want you to understand. If you go and look at the dollar, the bonds, and everything else, it will reveal everything that we are saying. So, let me not waste any more time with it. I have this in writing for you so you do not forget it. Follow the yen. If the yen does not pop off and strengthen, that's what I mean by pop off, a giant strengthening move, then China's situation is going to be overblown. Essentially, if the yen does not strengthen from here, you will quickly watch everybody find a way to turn this China thing bullish. Again, if you don't know what's going on, there is a big riot and protest. This is like what happened in Hong Kong in 2019, if you remember. But some people are saying this is huge, and I personally agree with it. That's why I want you guys to pay attention. But at the same time, what they are protesting over is the lockdown. So imagine China stocks over the last couple of weeks. We've been rallying anytime we've said, yeah, no lockdowns in China. The whole global economy loves that. But now it's like tied into the politics. So it's kind of a catch-22. We are going to see, but like I'm telling you, the Japanese yen holds all of the answers, because the stronger it gets, that is going to highlight that there is a bigger issue in Asia. And one thing I want you to notice, coming over to here, you'll see the dollar is up today. You could use the DXY, whatever else you want, but let's get into the yen and all the other currencies, and you'll see. So /6J, this is the yen right here, and you're noticing that it has been strengthening. If this goes up, that means it's strengthening. If you go and pull up a USD JPY and that goes up, that actually means it's weakening. This is different considering how the asset is represented through the futures, but thankfully it's simple. If it goes up, that's stronger. If it goes down, it is weaker. So like we're saying, we've already seen it move, but this is a very key level, and if it keeps strengthening from here and gets around the point that we saw around early August, that will let you know that the problem is getting worse, and the higher it goes, the worse the problem in Asia is going to be. So I'm sure you're thinking, why? Why would that be the case? Because it's the same reason why we shorted this at the beginning of the year. The yen is a safe haven currency. Up until this year, that remained true until it sold off, and that's why it was weird, and it was showing you how bad the global inflation crisis was. Every currency, even safe havens, even the Swiss franc, they were all weakening, and then the dollar wrecking ball started to take over, right? So that's why if you start seeing people treat this as a safe haven, there you go. And now if the problems are in China, I mean, it's not going to go to Hong Kong. It's not going to go to Taiwan. This is the easiest out for all of the money there. And if people get worried from Japan to China to any of those nations, this is probably where they're going to go. And it offers a nice risk to reward compared to the dollar. But now, like we've said with the dollar wrecking ball, this is what I want you to notice. It happened last night as well as today. Like right off of the morning, the yen dropped with everything else. Our markets dropped, the futures, all the other currencies, but the yen quickly caught a bid, which you'll even notice. This is a new trading session, but the yen actually closed up 0.25% higher. The dollar was up, I think, like 0.8 or something like that. But now, let's go to the pound. It's barely up right now, but the pound was down almost 1.5% today. As you see, the pound looks completely different. The pound weakened while the dollar got stronger. Now let's go to the euro as well. That's going to be /6E. And this also dropped about less than 1%. I think it was about 0.75. But you're seeing they didn't have the same early morning move right when the futures open, responding to China and all of that. But it's a very simple phenomenon that you haven't seen for a while here. The dollar strengthened, brought everything down except for the yen. And this is why, because the yen is a safe haven currency. If people are truly going to be worried about what's going on in Asia, they are going to jump into the yen. So hopefully you guys see that there. And now, like I'm saying, add it to Bullard and everything else. It was a pretty wild day, and literally what Bullard did, he twisted the knife. You remember? Go look at that thumbnail, man. I told you he's a psycho. And literally what he said last week with like the whole 5 to 7, it was really, or the 7% neutral rate, it scared a lot of people. And then you guys remember we were waiting for Bullard that one day, and then nothing happened. Well, yeah, he used the calm today to drive it home. And literally his quote, I should have put quotation marks on it, but he literally said the markets are underestimating the chances of rate hikes. And now I hope I could give you some new information here. This is where it gets ironic, because that slowed down the 10-year bond today. It brought the bonds down, but ironically enough, it didn't move the federal funds rate or the Zaza, the Zaza or the Fed futures. Essentially, they were already moved by the morning there, and it was an interesting one. Essentially, it affected longer-term yields, but if you wanted to try to talk the market down for the next Fed meeting, that didn't happen. But that's what gave us that little panic candle in the morning, and then we kind of went up and down, and that was it. But today, there was no whipsaw. You didn't get above VWAP. It really looked like some systematic selling there. Not systemic, but it was really just computer-oriented, and on top of it, the volume was pretty low. A lot of volume came in at the end of the day, which was kind of surprising, but for 90% of the day, all that volume came in at the end. It really wasn't that crazy. So hopefully this gives you an idea of what's going on, because like we're saying, you're going to hear from Powell in the next couple of days. Tomorrow, you're going to get at 10 a.m. the Conference Board of Consumer Confidence, and that can move things, but really this China hangover, the PCE on Thursday, then the jobs report on Friday, and again, Powell on Wednesday, these are probably going to be the big drivers. But the whole thing with China today, why I'm bringing it up, not only did it move the currencies, again, yen was up, all the other currencies went down, but there's implications if China reopens or not, and depending on how things play out politically there, because it affects commodities, it affects demand, supply chain, shipping. So there's a lot of things connected to it. This little storm cloud of China, I mean, this one was big, and just literally the scale of this protest to the point you're hearing about it, it has not even been suppressed at this moment. I mean, it's big. So that's why it's going to be important, but thankfully we have all these other data sets, and then it leads to the bigger pal and everything else next week. So hopefully you're riding along with this. Other than that, it was simple and boring, but now we got to ride the data, the macro, and some of these currencies in yen. That'll give us our signals, and then we'll go from there. But Let us get into the plays. So, right off the bat, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I made a couple plays. I made a couple. We'll go to there when we get there, but I did make one play after hours. I went short on 50 shares of XLV, and it was because UNH issued bad guidance after hours. They lowered their guidance for this quarter, and they widened their range to the lower end for next quarter, and that came out of nowhere. I wanted to short them, but they were already down like 3.5% on the day, so I went with XLV because they've been outperforming. So the last 100 days, they have been very good, and that's what I like. But literally, I say right there, this thing can Ronald McDonald body slam me. Oh, that's a horn. That's good. I hope you enjoyed it. It's good. But what I mean by that is, like, you know, you short any of the strength. I mean, you run the risk of getting clapped on it, but it was barely down compared to what happened with UNH. And I said, well, outperformer, maybe we'll get a little bit exposure. I went with, 50 shares. So it's like, even if it gets, I believe, to the yearly high, this would be like $250, $300 loss. So not anything too crazy, but then if things start to flip from here, at least we got to short some of the strength there. So going off of the earnings, I mean, sometimes it works very well. Sometimes it'll Qualcomm you. So we will see how that plays out. But that is play number one. Watch out for that. And then play number two, man, the bond. So I hope you're following along. Like I'm saying here, the yen is a safe haven. And depending on what happens in China, this can raise the demand for all safe havens. Now, even with the bonds, there's a lot of other theories related to this now where some people are saying, yeah, even though we think the Fed is going to be raising rates and even higher no matter what Bullard says, the logic is the closer we get to a recession, the more likely you're going to want to buy some of these bonds there. And we're kind of watching it base out, and hopefully the end of the year can add some bullishness. But to keep it very simple, if that yen catches a strong bid, the bonds are going to be next. So we're going to watch how this plays out. I put the word really volatile, but it could also be interchanged with really risky. But the whole point is Powell and any of these Fed speakers, any of the data, but especially Powell on Wednesday, that could make this really volatile or really risky. So I made a play on /ZN. That is the bond futures. IEF is the closest to /ZN. There is also /10Y, 10-year. That is a micro version of the ZN. But again, none of this is a recommendation. And if you trade futures without paper trading, they will hurt you and they won't care. They won't care. I know. Is my voice cracked? That means bullish. Okay. But whole point is, I want you guys to know these plays. You can follow along, but this one, like I've been saying, there's going to be some trades on it. So as far as what I actually did, you'll see. Maybe we'll have to get here into the orders that we actually did. But I opened up a ZNH23 because the old contracts have already expired. So I went long on this one. And remember, I was holding one for the last couple of days. Well, it only has one more trading day on the future. We had profits. I closed out of it, took my $200 or so, and then I even added another one at /ZNH23. That's the next month. Again, if you're not familiar with front month contracts, please look it up as it relates to futures. Again, TD Ameritrade, they got a nice little futures library. And honestly, you should probably be trading your futures on here anyway. So it's your life. It's your life, man. It's your life. But like I'm saying, as we get into the events this week, Powell, anything else in data, I really like it. And now I'm doing double the size here on the /ZN. So it's been good so far. We'll see how that plays out, but watch out for that. And then finally, I just want to put this here so you never ask me about it again. But like for real, I want you guys to be able to follow along. And this is the point where it gets a little weird, because we have been talking about the yen for such a long time. And somebody asked me today about it, and I said, hey, I'll show you the plays. I'll even show it to you right now on a chart. But if you want to try to get into the yen, you really have to understand it's high right now. If you buy in right now and then none of this materializes with China or things blow over, you will get clapped, because the inflationary pressure on the yen has been really bad ever since it's kind of broke this stability. Again, just take a look. It's bounced like this before and fell. That's why I'm saying it will be very telling if it could turn into a safe haven or not. So there's a lot of risk, but YCL is a way to play it. I don't think you should be playing it. I'm already in the futures right now, the /6J, but these are all the assets you can watch. And what I want you to understand is that you could use the yen way better right now as an indicator. Let this confirm what is going on. And like looking at the divergences in the market right now, it's going to set you up with an easy play. I'm telling you, people will ignore a lot, but if this gives us a warning signal, it should be fairly easy. But if all of a sudden, if everything I've said, all you've heard is yen, what play, just be very careful. I'm saying this where understanding this might help you string together way, way better plays in a lot of it, or at the very least, you want to wait till it comes down and just don't be the sucker buying in on the tops of any one of these moves. So hopefully that helps out with all of it, but those are the main plays as far as everything else. I mean, going back to the original ones, I opened 300 shares of CLF today at 1570, got clapped on it. It was supposed to be a quick flip, but ended up going down. They announced price increases, so still holding that. I mean, I like the materials plays. They should have been better, but again, why are they down today? China. Again, anything going on there, it had such a broader effect from commodities, dollar, bonds, safe havens, all of that. But there was that one. And then I went over the bond plays, and then I closed out of the XOM short. I wanted to hold it, and then there was like a little OPEC rumor about them maybe cutting more supply. Exxon popped and then came back down, but I said, hey, we'll take $100. Closed out at 111.26, and then I made my first day trade of the day on the MNQ on 3 of them because I'm still holding the other NQs. And I made like $60 on it and then closed out, and then we finalized with the XLV. That one came after hours, and we've already went over that one. But as far as everything else in the other trades that we're holding, hopefully this, okay, I'm going to have to update this. Please hold. I just needed to add the Tesla here for now, but my MBT, I actually had to close out of it because it expired down 200. Again, that's the whole front month. I forgot to roll it over, but nothing else. I'm still in the Ethereum short, and I think it's like up $1. Again, these are really micro. Even for 5 of those, it says like $280 of the purchasing power. So even see how it plays out, but I'm still in that giant ES. Let me throw up the big NQ because it was kind of weird how it played out. I'm down $5,000 on the NQ, but that ES, I was down about 3,000 and some change on this the other day, or even I think at most it was like 36 or 38, but now I'm up on it. I have a short, had to pay with a little bit of the gap. Thankfully, I have this old one that's kind of coming back on the micro, but like I said, I'm going to be using the yen to guide me on any of these little trades, and I'm just going to use all my data points. You've seen me go through this before, and really what it's going to come down to, give me more information. I'll be willing to cut out losses or not, but I was expecting a little bit more whipsaw, didn't get it, but at the very least, it's giving us somewhat of a buffer where, take the profits here, minus it. I don't think it's fluctuated more than $4,000, even when I didn't even have the NQ. Remember, I was down even 35 or whatever, 4,000 without any upside. So I kind of like it with how I'm balancing it, but that's what I'm in now. There's the /ZN. I'm down 250 again. You got to be careful with these. They move big, and now I'm on double the size. The Amazon, I was up 400 in the morning. Should have took it, but still holding. Those are my upside plays. The Disney still down. Qualcomm came back a little bit. Even our Tesla went positive, and then that's the upside. And then I believe the TSM, that's the other one, $100. I closed out the XOM from yesterday, and then still holding this one. But those are the main plays. It's going to be a wild one moving forward. I'm very excited. We're going to have the data. We know what to watch here at Chattadonia. It's almost December. We're starting to get every event right after the next. So be nimble, stay in the game, get ready for 2023, and I hope you're ready. It's going to be wild. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember what you're remembering. You know what I'm saying? I need you to remember that goal. I don't care. I want you to remember your prayer, but I know you don't pray. I know not everybody prays. That's cool. We still love you. You still get the data. You still know about the yen. But what I'm telling you, you need to focus on whatever it is you want because you'll get it. But if it comes at first of mind, you remember it and keep it on your mind, you will be good, whether it's discipline, good trades, improving in any way, and push yourself to get the best, baby. Oh, man, I almost broke the mic right there. But Chattadonia is very simple. I'm proud of a lot of you who have been holding it down, but guess what? One more month. Imagine. Enjoy the moment. I've been telling you. It's been like 3.5 months now since I've been saying that. Literally day by day. Let's take it. Bring it home. Keep it very simple, and I hope you're already ready. I hope you're already acting like it's the new year because it's here, baby. But either way, let's close it out. 30 more days. It's going to be a beauty, and I hope you're ready. And good night. Drink your water. Turn.